All right, guys, welcome to the MMA Fight Game Podcast. I am super excited to have a good friend of the channel, a good friend of the page. He is in a massive bout that is going to be on UFC Fight Pass. He's finally on UFC Fight Pass. Finally, no OnlyFans bullshit anymore. Mus'Aib Baiyina is riding a 2-fight win streak. He's on a marquee bout at LFA 167. Piersma versus Smith at the beautiful Seneca Niagara Casino. If you've never been to Seneca Niagara Casino, I know I've said this a lot prior. There is no bad seat in the house. It's a beautiful venue, and it's a great place to watch MMA. You're having a lot of Western New York, roster New York boys fighting. Moose is fighting out of Vicious Elite, out of Hornell, New York, as well as the OG gym in the area, Bone MMA. You guys all know what I think of Bone MMA, as well as a new gym that Moose kind of just dropped on me, House of Champions in Stony Creek, Ontario. You might know a few of these fighters that appear. Diana Belbita, Kyle Nelson, who is also fighting the same weekend out in Las Vegas, a fight that we will be at T-Mobile Arena, Noche UFC, as well as Mike Malak sometimes makes a little appearance out there. Moose, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Appreciate you having me. You already know, man. I'm feeling good.
I love it. I love it. First and foremost, I'm excited to see the Mus'Aib Baiyina LFA 167 walkout shirt, because your last walkout shirt was some of the best walkout shirts I have.
Hey, man, I really, all of this is, creativity, from everything from the hair to the walkout to the fight, and being creative with inside the fight, man. I think this whole experience is, I have control of. Now, I tell you this, like the reflective, that wasn't my idea. That was Tracy's idea, who does, does the uniforms for the guys down in Hornell and everything.
Okay.
But it was like, it just happened to come all together. And then like we work together, she's a mastermind. So like I just throw things over her way, and then she make magic on top of that, So that was beautiful magic, actually. So yeah, man.
Now, if these shirts take off, obviously, you can make revenue as a regional fighter selling your shirts. Yeah. I'm telling people who listen, who watch, who kind of follow us along, maybe even in the shadows, these shirts are sick.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
So, you're 2-2. Obviously, I don't like talking about records too much. Your last 2 fights, if I'm being honest, you were brought in to lose to these high-level prospects, and roles got reversed, and you starched these guys big time.
I mean, I feel like my whole career, man. I'm like, honestly, even like a couple, the first couple, you know what I'm saying? It was, got Yuri Panfarov.
Yep.
And Frank Collins was another hometown guy, But at the end of the day, man, I'm a fighter. Come in to fight, come in to win. They on UFC Fight Pass, all those fights, and I was just coming to get down, do what I'm supposed to do.
Yep. And so obviously, we put a little buzz out there trying to get you on the UFC 290 card over the summer. That was for the Nickel fight, right? Bo Nickel. We were trying to get you on that.
Yeah, man. I would love to take that fight, man. And like I said, I was already rolling. So to go out there and go get that matchup, I mean, me and him got the same amount of fights. So it just still would have made sense. Actually, I got more fights if you count my amateur career. Yep. And may not have as many wrestling matches as he has, but I got a good amount of wrestling. And when it comes down to combat experience altogether, I probably have way more combat experience from a youth when it's put all together. So I mean, that would have been interesting if that would have came to fruition.
I would have loved it. I know we put a lot out there for you, trying to get it out there. But I know you tried getting on Combat FC 5, Joe Cavallero and Rick Caldwell's promotion out there.
Yeah.
But another great promotion, a local fight where you can conceivably, if you wanted to, sleep in your bed and then go down the I-90 and get right to Seneca Niagara if you wanted to. But LFA 167 at Seneca Niagara is not a bad place to scrap either, right?
That's not a bad deal. Just opportunity came up. Like I said, we was already looking for the other opportunity over that Combat FC. I would have been cool and dope and dandy, but just to really have a home game. I know it's gonna be. I'm probably gonna have one of the biggest pops of the night, if not the biggest pop of the night, when I walk out, and then when I finish them. I do believe I have a big pop.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about your opponent. Obviously, your opponent is an LFA amateur alum. He had a lot of buzz coming out of the amateur. He hit a hard road. Kind of his back is against the wall in this fight. Are you expecting like guns a-blazing in this without getting into too much game plan and detail? What are you expecting for Friday night, September 15th at the Seneca Niagara Casino at LFA 167?
At the end of the day, man, I was just there. I was literally just there in the same spot right there. So I know what he's talking about. I know what he's feeling. I know what's going through his head right now. But, at the end of the day, my goal wasn't to try to get back to 500. My goal was to go achieve a world championship and go hold that championship for as long as possible. So I got to go out there and prove that I'm champion. And, this is the next step. This guy, I feel like he's going to be tough and he's going to come out. And I feel like he's going to work hard. He's a grinder. I think he's going to be a grinder just because, the wrestling pedigree that he has. But at the end of the day, my IQ is going to be better than his. My ability to just to know fighting, in every position. I've been in bad positions. You've seen it. I've got out of bad positions, and I've dominated the fight. If this guy wants to wrestle, we can wrestle. We go down to the ground. I get on top. Usually the ref has to stop the fight once I'm on top, right? I usually stop. I'm usually there and I stay there. In a striking, we already know what I do with that. So you know what time that is. But like I said, I feel like he's gonna be tough, and I feel like those first couple of exchanges, he's gonna give me what he got, and then he's gonna understand, when you're going against me, it's a whole nother level, man. Like I think I'm finally regaining that fuel and that buzz behind me that when I had when you having a fight against me, like it's lights, it's camera, it's action, it's a lot of pressure when you're fighting me. The buzz around LFA, wasn't as big until I got on the card. Now it's about a bigger buzz now. A lot of people more excited, a lot of people are more coming out for this thing. And like I said, you're gonna probably see the biggest pop of the night when I walk out and a bigger pop when I finish him.
Yeah, I love it. LFA run by the OG GOAT, Ed Soares. If people don't know who Ed Soares is, Ed Soares used to be the OG translator in the UFC, used to be a manager or representative of arguably one of the best GOATs ever, Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo, Junior Dos Santos, Lyoto Machida, to name a few, right? So going into LFA 167, obviously it's a battle of I-90. I'm saying you're residing in Rochester, and Austin is from Western New York, Buffalo area. So it's truly a battle of I-90 here between you and Austin. Obviously, you being close training, are you from, because he's from Western New York MMA, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right. Are you familiar with that coaching staff or what they do? And being so close, has that helped you in preparation?
I fought 3 of their guys. I finished 3 of their guys.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I finished 2 of their guys. When Tyler Tango, we went the distance. Brother for a championship.
Yeah, I'm just looking down. And obviously, another teammate, another training partner, John Piersma, is headlining the bout against another training partner and friend, Devin Smith from Black Zillions, or Rashad Evans, who's a training partner of you and Vicious Elite, Haas Coates, and all those guys down there. Are you torn between for that matchup? Are you kind of just gonna sit in the back corner and kind of have your hands over your eyes and just hope for a good fight and let the best man win? I mean, how do you like get yourself wrapped around two boys fighting like that?
Oh man, I mean, at the end of the day, man, like this is not the first time it's happened. You're gonna go against. Like I said, I'm probably the most well traveled,
Yep.
person out of the area. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, for this to happen, it is the most randomness of random can happen, right?
Yeah.
Uh, it's not like on a local amateur scene where you go, you got one gym here and one gym there, and we're both in Rochester, and it's two guys fighting each other.
Yep.
But like I said, man, I think they're both really good. John John's on a tear right now. Devin, he's coming back. Uh, Devin has a heck of a resume behind him. He's got great training. I'm sure John's got great training too. So it's gonna be one of those things. Is going who's gonna want it more at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I actually got to talk to both athletes. I talked to John, and then I talked to Devin, and Devin told me something like he didn't know after his two losses, he didn't know if he wanted to be in MMA, and he found himself in a bad spot somewhere with a gun to his head,
Yeah, I
and
seen it.
he's like, what is my mother gonna think? And then he called his godfather, Rashad Evans, former UFC Hall of Famer, former champion, tough winner, and Rashad brought him down there, and they've been training. His story is just crazy. When I talked to him, I just couldn't believe it. And I mean, he's motivated. Obviously, John with a win is looking to get on the Contender Series or call up to the UFC. What does a win for you at LFA 167 against Austin Ross? Where do you think that puts you?
I think it puts me right where I need to be right now. So I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, we taking another step. Now it's the next step. Getting on LFA. The premier league in which the UFC recruits out of. So just understanding that, going out here, getting a fantastic finish, um, and then getting ready to really go against, the premier talent that's in LFA. Not to say that CES doesn't have good talent, not to say Unified doesn't have good talent. But when the main, pipeline is LFA to the UFC, that's who they're looking at. So going out here, getting a good finish, and pretty much climbing the ranks through that. I do believe, if I go out here and do what I'm supposed to do, they'll probably may offer me something, and then we can build how I need to build. So once I am on I get the call to the big stage, everybody's gonna know who I am. They're gonna be anticipating it, and I don't think if I get it done right here, when I get to the big stage, the carpet for the championship is going to be relatively easy, I believe. So I think a few fights here, and then a few fights at the next level, and I can be talking about gold. So
Yeah, going to the dance. You also got to make sure some people that that are going out to Las Vegas who will be in the UFC officials' ears see the Moose reflective shirt on at the fights and stuff like that. So you got to make sure that happens. Also,
yeah,
the fights are Friday night, so
yeah.
we're actually doing some dinner and a show out in Vegas. But I'm gonna have my phone, and when you and John are fighting and Devin are all fighting. Are gonna
Liam too, man. Liam Anderson, man.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know Liam like that. I will say on this call that everybody the hype around Liam is real. You, John, Kaba, a lot of people, and I mean no disrespect to him. I heard the hype is good. Obviously, I treat your guys' word like gospel, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him fight as well when I'm out there for Noche UFC. But talk to me about training at House of Champions. It was kind of like a sporadic thing. Like somebody came. Tell me who came up to you, who invited you out, and tell me how that all went.
Yeah, man. I just sporadically just go to whatever gym I want to go to, man. So, yeah, man. Great thing, man. At Unify, I freaking maybe if I don't land a kick, I don't. This doesn't happen. But yeah, Unified. After the fight, I was all bloodied up. Not my blood, of course, but yeah, somebody comes up to me and I look up. I'm like, hold on, this is a whole UFC fighter, and it was Deanna Belbita. Yeah. So, yeah, I was like, oh, good job in your last fight or whatever. She said, good job back and whatever and whatnot, man. And then, yeah, I ended up shooting her a message like a couple weeks later and just asking about, training and this, that, and the third. She told me, House of Champions, and I'm like, I bet I'm gonna come through one of these days. And yeah, I've been there, man. I talked to Crew Lynn. That's a cool dude right there, man. He's a really cool cat. He just welcomed me. The gym is very welcoming. Everybody there is super welcoming, warm, a nice gym, and I've been able to get some work with them like a couple of days a week. Go get some sparring in, and yeah, it's been pretty smooth.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were telling me offline, without getting into like specific details for either you or Kyle, you got some rounds with Noche UFC fighter who's on the Noche UFC card, should I say, Kyle Nelson. How did that go?
Yeah, I got some rounds with a few guys up there, man. Yeah, man. Kyle Nelson's good, man. That was like the first time I went down there for sparring.
Yep.
And Crew was just like lining everybody up. He was like, all right, you go with him. All right, Moose, now you go with him. And now you go with him. All right, so yeah, I got a couple rounds in with Kyle, and he's good, man. I think he's gonna be straight come this September 16th at UFC.
Noche. So let me ask you this. Is it different preparing for a fight with another fighter that is preparing for a fight versus a fighter that doesn't have one on the books? Do you see the intensity? Do you see the work output more? Do you prefer that, actually? Let's go that stuff. Do you prefer that more versus somebody that doesn't have a fight on the books?
I mean, if you just come into the gym to work out and get it in, I mean, like, I feel like if you just have intensity to come, do what you got to do, it doesn't matter if you got a book on the fights or not. I mean, just, depends on what your end goal is, whatever. My goal is to try to get gold. So not try to get gold, just to get gold and over it. And, just gotta put the work in. You gotta understand, like, some days you're gonna have a sucky day, other days you're not gonna have a sucky day. Like, freaking, like last sparring, good sparring. We didn't have sparring a couple sparrings ago. Probably you learned a couple things, right? And then it's like you gotta have those up and downs, those ebbs and flows. So when it's time to really like go out there and use it, you got it. You have it, right? Like, I'm one of those people, man. Like, I don't feel good unless I get beat up at least one good time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, something like it's got to be at least one sucky round where I'm like, dang, man. And then after that, I'm like, I'm pretty confident. I know I can go out there and do it because I would stand a sucky round or something like that. But hey, like I said, it doesn't matter if it's fight on the books or not. It was like people just coming to train. They come to train hard. Everybody's got a common goal.
So that means that OG GOAT Jacob Bone, he probably got a good round on you, and then Jake Hicksonbaugh, whose new nickname is Nate Diaz Jr.
Yeah.
He probably got a round on you as well, rolling with those dogs over at Bone MMA, right?
Yeah, man. Jake's looking really good right now, man. He's pretty sharp, man. We've been getting a little bit more some one-on-ones with each other. He's looking sharp. He's keeping me sharp, man. And it's good to go with like guys in in the lighter weight classes because they're gonna show you that speed and a pace, and like I said, you're gonna see the difference in fighters between me and the next opponent. Just it's a lot of things that that I can gain from working with guys like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we wrap this up, obviously, I'm going to put your link with this interview up to get tickets because obviously you benefit from ticket sales. I mean, you're already gonna have a lot of people, but a bunch more won't hurt as as well. But is there any sponsors or anybody that you want to thank for helping you with this camp specifically?
Yeah, man, all the gyms, man, I'm working with already right now. Like I said, man, work with Hoss, give me great work. Working with Bone and them, getting good work in over there. House of Champions has been a great addition to me.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I just go over there just get work. So that's been good. Like I said, man, Project Lean Nation. You know, helping with the food and stuff like that.
Tim Doherty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I know Tim Doherty. Tim Doherty and I graduated. He's a Webster kid.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know Tim. Tim's a good guy. I haven't seen him out for a full contact. I might have to reach out and get him out to a fight so he can get more involved because I know he does some stuff with you guys. But Timmy's real generous. Project Lean Nation's got really good food for
Oh
sure.
yeah, man. Oh yeah. So get your PLN, man. And yeah, I see him all the time at Midtown. So he was planning to come on out too for the fight. So be great to have them, man. That's what I like about this fight though, man. I think it being New York side, the Niagara Falls, everybody can kind of come out and come through and enjoy a good show. Like I said, I'm gonna come do what I do, So
Yeah, honestly, I wish that I didn't book the UFC note or Noche UFC before knowing what you guys were doing. Because if you're an MMA fan and you're in this area in Western New York, there's no reason why you shouldn't be at LFA supporting all the local fighters, regardless of who you support. Go out there, support the athletes, support the fans, support the event. Because if we have a good turnout, because ticket sales, I don't know, I wasn't watching when you got announced on the card, but ticket sales, there's not a lot of seats left based on what I've been seeing. I would be extremely shocked if it wasn't standing room only on September 15th.
Man, let it be standing room only. Come through, man. Like I said, I'm gonna put on a show, man. There's a couple good guys within the area, man. Got Devin Smith, man, and John Pierceman. That's gonna be a good fight, man. I train both guys, man. It's gonna be great. Rashad Evans gonna be there. He's gonna be in my corner too. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I got Hoss, Evans, and Fury in my corner. So.
So let me ask you this. What does it mean to have a UFC Hall of Famer, a UFC former champion, and an OG Ultimate Fighter winner in your corner? Does that put any undue pressure on you or anything like that?
No, ain't no pressure. I mean, this guy, he invited me to work with him, so
that's awesome.
It's just all love and everything. So it's just like I'm gonna go out there and do my thing, and it's gonna be more fitting in knowing that if this guy makes it to the second round, I'm gonna have some really, really great advice from somebody who's done it at the highest level, that has had a championship and has a Hall of Fame distinction. So yeah, I mean that's just great right there. And I mean just to have my Hoss and Fury back there too, those guys, they give me good work, give me good.
Hoss is good. I like Hoss a lot. Now let me ask you this. Obviously having Rashad there, and having Rashad there and having the crowd there, what's your prediction for the fight?
For my fight?
If you want to give one.
For my fight?
For your fight.
I believe, like I said, like I said before, man. I think he's gonna give me a cup. The first couple of exchanges, he's gonna be tough. But I think he's gonna run into something. He's definitely gonna run into something, and then I'm gonna take over from there. I really don't believe he's gonna be able to last that long. Like I said, I think he's tough, and he's gonna be able, like he's a wrestler. He's gonna have that mindset. He's the type of dude. If I get a choke, he's not gonna tap. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to separate him from consciousness. I do believe that, but like I think within the first couple of exchanges, he doesn't get what he thinks he's gonna get, and then it's gonna start to, I'm gonna make it end up looking easy.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it, guys. Mus'Aib Baiyina fighting at LFA 167 on a busy Mexican Independence Day weekend, September 15th at the beautiful Seneca Niagara Casino. Links will be posted for tickets. If I can convince him to mass market his awesome walkout shirts, some of the best out there as well. He's going to be cornered by some UFC Hall of Famer. A lot of game local fighters are going to be out there. Liam Anderson, Moose, John Piersma, Austin, Devin Smith. It's going to be a great night. If you are a mixed martial arts fan, you need to be at Seneca Niagara Casino on September 15th. Moose, as always, I appreciate your time, brother.
Man, appreciate you having me for sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Sit tight.
Yes, sir.